Hello and welcome to another edition of Cody Cox Presents. This week it's Miss Alexis Dobbins, founder and CEO of KidsNeed2. KidsNeed2, make sure I say it right. Welcome to the show, Alexis.
Thank you. Welcome. Glad to be here, Cody.
So we're going to get right into what KidsNeed2 is all about from your website. And please, people, definitely check our website out. It is KidsNeed2.com, KidsNeed2.com. It says coaching, mediation, and counseling. Tell us what KidsNeed2 is all about.
Sure. KidsNeed2 is primarily a coaching and a mediation service designed to support unmarried parents so they are able to maintain a positive and a nurturing co-parenting environment for their children. Generally, when I provide counseling services, but the bulk of that, I then refer them to one or two counselors that I work with, and I know they support and endorse the KidsNeed2 approach.
So what is the benefit of me? So I'm a single dad trying to work out things with the single mom. What benefits, what is the purpose for me coming to KidsNeed2? How does that work out for us as a couple? Well, as co-parents, I should say.
Sure. As co-parents, couple of different reasons. One, you would come to, I have clients who come to KidsNeed2 because there is an issue about child support, for example. And either one or both of the parents understand that probably the worst thing that you can do in that scenario is simply go to child support court and say, here we are, and kind of tell X what to pay Y. So I work with unmarried parents to help them create a child support budget, really kind of push a little bit to see what's up under there and what's in the best interest of the child, give them some tools so that they can create a child support scenario that works best for those two parties in support of their child. So that's one thing that we do. A lot of the work that I do, though, is dealing with parents who simply cannot communicate at all with each other. We have parents who, if mom calls to ask dad a question, dad may call her back in 2 to 3 weeks. Mom is with the child. I had a client a couple of days ago, we were doing a discovery call actually, and he shared that he sees his child with the mom. The child wants to come to him to say hello, but the mom then yanks the child away because it's not his time, it's her time. Obviously, I mean, I could go on forever about the negative effects that has on children. Children need to feel safe. They need to feel loved, and they definitely don't need to feel that they have to choose between parent A and parent B. So a lot of what I do is really what I call moving from chaos to confusion. Moving from chaos to communication, so that parents are not raising children in this environment that is chaotic, that is confusing, and they are able to, as two adults, to express their needs and focus solely on the child or the children. A lot of what I do deals with just basic communication, which can seem simple, but if you're co-parenting and there's some trauma or there's some anger or there's some hurt up underneath that, it can be very difficult.
But I would think that's the challenge. The first leg is to get even the two parents to realize they need this. They may realize it's toxic. And I think, obviously when it's a rocky relationship from the start, obviously they're barely talking to each other on a normal basis, let alone when it comes to the child. But how do you even get them to see? Because your first portion, the whether it's the child support or issues like that, that's one thing. And I think that's a brilliant way to definitely keep, as they say, keep the brother's name out of court. If you can find a mediator and you can find someone who can sit down and work out, and I think those details are critical, obviously, right. Not just the child support, but visitation, the holidays, they right. Go back and forth about, whose holiday it is or whatever have you. Those things are critical, but in order to get to even thinking about those things, they have to at least be in the same mind frame to say, okay, we need help doing this. How do
Okay.
you go about getting to that point?
All right. This is one of the main tenets of Kids Need To, and I think it's what makes Kids Need To different from maybe other co-parenting organizations or other co-parenting supports. I firmly believe that it only takes one parent to change the dynamic.
Okay.
Rarely do I start out working with two parents. Okay, and that's important. That's important for me to say because, as you just said, rarely if you're not communicating and you're not talking and you don't want to be in the same room, you're
Right.
not going to agree that you need to meet with a coach to figure out how to make this any better. Firmly believe, and both from personal experience and from education, that it only takes one concerned and committed parent in order to change that dynamic. There are tools that I provide, whether it's the mom or the dad, and people make the assumption that it's always the mom. Sometimes it's not, oftentimes it's not. It can be the dad. But if one parent realizes that this dance that we're doing is toxic, is negative, and is having an unwanted impact on our child or on our children, and I want to change the dynamic, I work with that parent providing tools and strategies so that they create a dynamic that then allows the other parent to enter, allows the other parent to change their approach. And it's almost like modeling the behavior that you want to see. It's not almost like, that's what it is. I work with one parent to model the behavior that they want to see in the other parent. You hear people saying, I know when I was in counseling, after my marriage fell apart, one of the things that was constantly said to me was, it takes two people to dance. If one of you isn't dancing, the other person has to decide what they're going to do. Either they're going to stop dancing, either they're going to come up with a different dance, or they're going to stop and determine, why am I doing this particular dance? And so that's what we do at Kids Need To. Rarely do I get two people who say, it's not working for us, and so, pardon my expression, us wants you to help us. It is 95% of the time, it is one parent. I work with them for a period of time. More than 50% of the time, I generally am able to, at least in maybe one session, interact with that other parent and then touch base with them depending on the package that we have, so that I'm insured and they're comfortable that the dynamic is turning. But somebody's got to start it. And that's who I'm working with. I'm working with the person who says, I'm ready to change this.
So you mentioned you have packages.
Yes.
So how does that work? So I'll use a scenario. I'm a dad realizing I got issues with the mother, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about having some type of medium between us. So obviously, as the service offers, it's the best situation for the child. When I approach you with, I'm ready to go, what are the packages or the things, the physical things you actually offer to the parent?
I like to start out with what I call a discovery call, which is a free 30-minute call where I get a sense of what you're looking for. And most of my clients come to me that way. However, and then together we determine which package is going to work for you. Some clients just simply want to dive into the package because they saw it on the website or somebody told them about it, or they're like, I need to do this now and this is what I want to do. In terms of the packages themselves, for example, I have a package called Say No to Child Support Court. That can be one 90-minute session if that's all, and generally that's the male client. Not always, but generally it's the male client. So maybe the individual is only going to commit to 90 minutes. But
tell me the name of that package again.
Say No to Child Support Court.
So again, another way to keep brother's name out the system.
Well, yeah, because, and again, the way that I present that, because it's the way that I look at it and it's the way I lived it. We're leaving legacies for our children. You can't leave a financial legacy if your money is being siphoned off to child support court, because everybody doesn't necessarily know that part of those monies are going to the child. The other parts of those monies are going to various other entities, which we can just lump under the term the system. So depending on, what mom makes, what mom is doing, whether mom is getting any support, that money is not going necessarily where you think it's going. So here's my thing. The two of you had a child. You've got some issues. Let's get clear on those. I can be a neutral source. I can provide some support, some advice. I can kind of guide you to think differently. But bottom line, even if you have to go to child support court, don't go to child support court and say, help me. You want to go to child support court and say, this is the document that together we have worked on. We need to, I'll feel more comfortable if this is filed, but together we came up with this. Okay, I'm not trying to hurt him. He's not trying to hurt me. I'm not trying to pretend that I married Jay-Z when I really married the security guard at the corner. We're not playing those games. This is what we worked out, and this is what we're going to file. So anyway, getting back to the packages that say no to child support court. There are other examples where that whole child support case, as you can imagine, there's things up under that. You know what I'm saying? They're playing it out for money, but there's a lot of other stuff under that. So I have a child support package that is 3 sessions. And then again, at the end of the session, there's still a tangible outcome. There's something either that you're going to sign and agree to, or there's something that you're going to take to the court, or even if you're working with a lawyer, you want to take it to your lawyer, but you've worked through the hard part. I've helped you work through the hard part, and I've shown you where you're moving away from child support to some other issues, and I'm going to keep pulling you back to child support. So that's one package. I have a 4-session package called Increase the Co-Parenting Piece that deals a lot with communication, how we talk to each other. I joke about it a lot, but classic example, if you know every time you say dog, the other parent starts howling at the moon and forgets what the conversation is about, let's talk about why you keep saying dog. Every time the person says hello and you say hi, dog. Again, that dance. Let's talk about why we're doing that dance, and let me give you some ways to work around that. Let me give you some other words, some other tools.
Because there's obvious triggers, obviously. That's what you're doing.
Obvious triggers.
And a lot the other parent off.
Right. And the thing is, most co-parents really want to provide the best possible environment to their children. It's not I just want to raise my child in chaos. But there's some strategies that you're missing. There's some tools that you're missing. That's what I give you. And I walk you through that, and we practice, and I give you a little bit of homework, and then I have you write down some things, or maybe you're going to call me every Wednesday and say, well, we talked about this, and this is what I did. We're going to bounce that around. But I'm going to move you from that chaotic communication style that you have to a different communication style that's really solely focused on the children. And I know it works because it worked for me. And if it works for me, trust me, it'll work for anybody, because mine was about as chaotic can be. But once I began to really look at it as a system and kind of put the emotions to the side and realize when I do this happens, but when I do that happens. And that's really where KidsNeed2 came from. And I want to mention one more thing. I actually, if you go to the website, I have an online class that takes just about an hour, but it really walks you through a very basic communication plan, talks about triggers, talks about the importance of listening. And again, for some people who just say, I really, I just got to get something real quick because I'm just going to explode. For some people, that's an option. And they simply go online, they take that, they get a free 30-minute session with me after they do that, and then they get a certificate, which oftentimes can be helpful if you find that you are going to court, to simply say, this is, I'm really interested in making this work better. Here's a class that I took, and here's a certificate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so those packages are available. If people want to find out more about it, they should just go to the website and reach out to you from there, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so again, people, KidsNeed2.com. KidsNeed2.com. So the last thing I want to get to is the biggest thing, in my opinion. I think that you started last year, I thought was superb, and that's the Best Dad Ever. Is it, we will say, contest or?
Last year I said contest. This year I'm changing it to award.
Okay. So he has this which I thought was a huge idea, and celebrating fathers, obviously co-parenting fathers, single fathers, and because, I mean, the usual, they don't usually get recognized. They don't usually, there's some guys out there, believe it or not, I think more guys that are doing great than not. They don't get recognized.
I agree.
So I thought this program was great, and last year went so well. You didn't even recognize somebody. I have known you obviously for eons, but this person I didn't even know you knew when he got nominated. I thought it was superb because I knew the guy and I knew the relationship he had with his daughter, which I thought was really, really cool. So now I've spilled all the beans, but please tell us a little more about the Best Dad Ever.
Again, this year we're calling an award, but it is very simply Best Dad Ever. It is really designed to, as you said, to support, to recognize, and to encourage those single dads, unmarried, divorced, wherever you fall in the mix, who sometimes, there's no card for you. People kind of hobble some stuff together and give it to you. And it's not about the thing that I keep stressing. It is not about perfection. We tend to judge those fathers who are outside of, what we call the marital window. It's not about perfection. It's about, is this dad giving his 150%? Is he really trying? Maybe there's some odds that he's overcoming. And we really just want to celebrate and honor them. This year, I'm really excited about, I did a Google form, which made it a lot easier. Maybe 8 questions. You just plug in those 8 questions. The winner gets a $250 gift certificate, and then the runner-up, still using contest terms, I need to work on that next year, but the runner-up gets a $100 gift certificate, and anybody who is nominated gets a really nice certificate that they can hang up or do whatever it is that they want to do with that. But to me, if somebody nominates you for a Best Dad Ever award, that in itself means that you are a winner. Got some really exciting judges. Dave Rogan, who is running for political office in Prince George's County, definite experience with co-parenting. I'm so excited that he's going to be a judge this year. David Washington, who is the CEO and founder of an organization called Fair for Justice, which is a fatherhood organization designed to support dads. And he's working on legislation to kind of change some of the things that are mom heavy on one side to get a more equitable approach. He's agreed to be a judge this year. And then I was able to kind of nudge and finagle my son, Tucker Dobbins, who I remember when he found out that he was going to be a father. The growth is amazing, and he is just like all things dad. And he probably is he's probably the best KidsNeed2 walking and talking example other than his dad. Because there are times when I would start saying, well, you have to look at this, you have to look at that, and he'd hang up. And now he calls, and I start talking, and he says, yo, okay, that's real cool. But I need a KidsNeed2 moment. Okay, that's what I need. I need you to, and he says, you're okay. I didn't think of it that way. Okay, all right. No, no harm. I can do an apology. And it's just been amazing to see that growth. And he's another reason why I say I know it works.
Okay.
So those are my 3 judges. I'm really excited. The contest started a couple of days ago. The award season started a couple of days ago.
They can get the nomination form from the website as well.
They can get it from the website, or it's just the bit.ly address, KN2 Best Dad Ever.
Okay, KN2 Best Dad Ever.
Right, okay. On bit.ly. And the window closes Saturday the 16th, the day before Father's Day at 12 noon.
Okay, great. So you all out there, plenty of single dads, plenty of guys who are actually doing great jobs what a wonderful way to celebrate their Father's Day by being recognized by others for what they're doing. And, you know, the good ones, they do it without looking for that type of recognition.
Right.
They're just plowing through doing what they're supposed to do and what they need to do for their child. So, you know, we have witnessed those type of guys in our neighborhoods, in our families, in church, or whatever the case may be. So again, go to the website or go to don't give it to me one more time just for the nomination paper.
Okay, it's bit.ly/KN2 best dad ever, all one string.
Gotcha. So as you see it on the bottom of your screen, so you can follow it there. Just cut and paste and go there and nominate those dads. Okay, this has been great, Alexis. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you so much. A pleasure, as always. You are doing, you just keep going from wonderful thing A to wonderful thing B. So I'm really excited for you, and glad to have an opportunity to be with you on the show.
Thank you. We'll continue to push as more, and this whole point in doing Cody Cox Presents is to present these type of companies and entities that are doing things not only within the community, but are having a greater impact than what people recognize. And I have so many friends and so many colleagues that have these little side, hustles on the side that people don't realize. I'm like, man, that's a huge idea. So I thought, why not present a platform or have a platform to present those type of people, those type of things going on in our lives and in our community. So you're doing great. I've always thought this was a great idea. I send you clients and I'll continue to do so.
Thank you.
Definitely check out Miss Alexis Dobbins, founder and CEO of KidsNeed2. Again, check her out the website. It's KidsNeed2.com, KidsNeed2.com. And until next time, y'all, thanks for listening and watching. We'll catch you again on Cody Cox Presents.
Thanks.